Okay, this is a feedback report on is it a positive or negative development essay? IELTS Task 2. Okay, and I have to... Here's our question. In many places, new homes are needed, but only space available is in the countryside. Some people believe it is more important to protect the countryside and not build new homes there. What is your opinion? Now, this is an interesting question. It's a direct... Well, it's not a positive, negative. Anyway, it's a direct question. I got the whole category wrong. But it is about reading the question. But what do we need to pay attention to in this question? In many places, not everywhere. New homes. Homes. Key word here. Where's my laser pointer? Yes, laser pointer. Yeah. Homes. And the only space available for them is in the countryside. What is the countryside? Okay? Some people believe it is more important to protect the countryside and not build new homes there. What is your opinion? It doesn't say you have to agree or disagree. It just says, what's your opinion? Here's
One
our
of the most
first
controversial and challenging
paragraph.
question of today's society is that whether houses should be constructed in rural areas or not. In my perspective, development of residential area in the countryside should be prohibited in order to prevent the natural environment.
Okay, not surprising. I've seen this kind of sentence before. Okay, and for those who don't know, my color coding on the marking is based upon the band descriptors. Task response. What is it doing in terms of answering the question or demonstrating that you misunderstood the question? It also shows support for your points. Is it there or is it not? Coherence and cohesion, organization, and does it make sense? Paragraphs making sense. LR is appropriate vocabulary, grammar. Okay. Now, I wonder, I know that someone taught this student, or she's using a template to start your essay with one of the most controversial and challenging questions of our today's society is, and then you just fill it in. This is a really bad idea. Do you think, think about what you're saying. What happened to that? Okay, is this what you think? Do you think this? What is that setting the tone for? Not just in the essay, but in your own mind. Challenging questions facing is, we don't need the that there. The that can just go away. So, one of the most controversial and challenging questions, plural. Okay, in my perspective, from my perspective, the development of residential area. There's a rule called noun of noun. When you have a noun of noun construction, you use the. In order to prevent the natural environment. That is either a typo or it's a big mistake, because this is your thesis. This is where you're supposed to be understanding the question. Protect, I think is what you meant to say. Prevent and protect are very different.
Urbanization is rural areas would interfere with the ecosystem and lead to deforestation, destruction of farming land, etc. Consequently, this would disturb the environment and cause climatic change. Furthermore, development of houses in rural areas would increase the traffic influx affecting the local population. For instance, building of houses, schools, and factories could cause various kinds of pollution like air, water and noise pollution in the countryside. Farming areas used for production of food will be impacted, which could lead to scarcity of food.
Okay, you have a lot of vocabulary surrounding environmental issues, and that's good, but knowing the words and knowing when to use them are different things. Okay. We are not talking about urbanization. Urbanization is the expansion of cities. Okay? We're talking about building some homes. We call it, suburban. It's not urbanization. And then I hope that is just a typo there with is, and you're supposed to say in. I'm going to assume it's a typo, but because it's in such an important position, it will probably affect your score. And besides, yeah, it's not, okay. Would interfere with the ecosystem, okay, and lead to deforestation, destruction of farming land, it's farmland, etc. Oh, and there should be a comma in there, by the way, before etc. Never use etc. in an IELTS essay, period. End of story. Consequently, again, you've been taught, begin every sentence with a connecting word. And here, use consequently first, and then use furthermore. I swear, this looks like a template. Consequently means because of the thing before. Okay, so interfere with the ecosystem. Okay, well, we've got three things happening here. Three things. Consequently, this would disturb the environment and cause climatic change. Oh my. It would interfere with the ecosystem. So this would lead to disturbing the environment. Can you really, is there a difference in those terms? Can you, it's like saying apples, apples will lead to apples and cause climatic change. Okay, we're looking at in many places, not everywhere, and we're talking about homes. And that's going to cause climate change? I think what you mean to say is add to climate change. And the collocation is climate, not climatic. And change, not changed. You don't need a connector to start every sentence. Furthermore, noun of noun. The development of houses in rural areas. Houses? Oh, I missed that. In rural areas would increase the influx of traffic. Noun of noun. Increase, that would mean there's traffic there now, and it's traffic, influx of traffic is more common. Okay. All right, so increase, and this would affect the local population. Well, how? You see, you haven't explained any of these points yet. Well, here's an example. What's with this punctuation? What's that? I don't know. The building of houses, schools, and factories could cause various pollution. Factories? Huh? We're not talking about factories. We're talking about homes. Now, instance means, is this an example of climate change or increase of traffic? For instance, we actually just go back to this. Is this an example of traffic increasing? No, it's a whole bunch of new stuff. And note, would interfere, would disturb, would increase. Okay? We've established a pattern. And now you're going to change it to could. Huh? Well, right. Noose? There's a picture of what a noose looks like. That's a noose. In the countryside. Where else? That's what we're talking about. And if we don't have enough points in there already, we're going to come up with another point, another thing. It's not the number of points, it's how well you support them. And none of these are supported at all. Oh, but at least you mentioned this one up here. All right, so those sounds like lots of reasons not to build houses. So I'm expecting the next paragraph to explain why we should build houses. And you know what? It's not houses. It's homes. Homes are different than houses.
However, it is also necessary to construct more houses to satisfy the demands of growing population. Building of more houses in cities would increase the population density, ultimately causing pollution. Learn the rules for articles. Lots of missing articles. It is also necessary. You can't say also necessary unless you
said something was necessary in the paragraph before. And you didn't say anything was necessary, you just complained about a bunch of stuff. It would lead to ultimately causing pollution, meaning eventually, but cities are already polluted. What is with the pollution obsession?
In conclusion, I believe that construction of houses in the countryside is a challenging question.
I believe that
needs to implement rules and regulations on construction of houses in countryside. Construction of multi-story building in the cities should be encouraged over development of individual homes. Various family planning methodologies should be implemented to prevent overpopulation. Protection of environment is the responsibility of both our government and the community members.
And then to finish it off, we're going to bring in family planning, birth control. What does it have to do with housing? Use this. This is an app. It's called, or not an app. It's a website called wordcounter.net. It tells you how many words you got, and then it points out problems. Actually, no. This is the red is Grammarly, which I have installed in Firefox. You can disable it from most sites, but it's useful here. It shows you all your not all your problems, but the obvious ones. You used the word houses was used 7 times in your essay, and it tells you again if you're repeating yourself. 224 words. Here's the what's that? Here's the whole essay in one. 14 article errors, 14 sentences. None of them are error free. I hate to give you a band score on this, but I don't know if I'm going to have to. All right, so it would have been a 5. You have some positions, but there's no development at all. Limited development, no, not even any irrelevant detail like birth control, but because of the word count, it goes down to a 4. Overuse of cohesive devices. Too many connectors, and they're not used correctly. I think your vocabulary is good. You've memorized a lot of topic-specific vocabulary, and limited range of structures. I think that's probably going to have to go down to a 5, actually. But either way, it's going to be a 5 as an essay.